And so it begins. I told you. I will be here when you need me.
At the conclusion of Babylon 5, there were a number of stories yet untold in the Babylon 5 universe. Warner said, "Do you have a thought for a follow-up series since Babylon 5 had done very well?" And I did. I had a notion to explore elements from the Shadow War that were left over. I wanted to go in a different direction with this show because there's no point to doing the same show just repackaged. If it was set on Babylon 5 and just had the change of characters, that's not, to me, a new show. It's just variations on a theme.
In Crusade, they were out right away from the beginning to try to find a cure to the Drakh Plague. So it was them exploring the universe. That was a lot different than having people land on a space station and come and go and have the chaos of that.
My initial pitch on Crusade was King Arthur's Ride.
We need the right ship and the right person to find that cure. The right ship is the Excalibur. That person is you, Captain.
That's why we held the accoutrement of King Arthur, the Excalibur, and a Merlin-like character.
We had said that Crusade was going to be more action with drama, as opposed to Babylon 5, which was drama with action.
And now we had to establish new people, new situations, and at the same time have a link to Babylon 5.
So this is Babylon 5. It's everything I expected. Noisy, crowded, and constantly in trouble.
We were in completely different sets. We were going to a different place every week. Rather than have the stories come to us, we were going to and creating the stories with Excalibur.
After you upload the information to me, you will erase the ship's log. We don't want anyone else stumbling onto those records. God knows what nonsense they put in there.
The first 13 Crusade episodes were more or less standalones with just a hint of an arc here and there. As with B5, as we got deeper into the story, more and more of the arc would have come out.
Captain Gideon, Dr. Chambers, may I introduce Dr. Stephen Franklin, head of xenobiological research at Earth Dome.
My plan was, over the course of the 5 years of the show, to bring in more and more of those characters and eventually synthesize the two series.
We're about 6 miles from the city. It'll be a tough haul with this dense atmosphere and terrain, but I think we can make it.
It's one thing to create an environment that looks like the interior of a ship. You're creating forests, valleys, and seaside settings inside of a soundstage. It has to look real. With John Accavelli, it was that learning curve he had to go through to create these virtual sets.
All of a sudden, we weren't confined by our soundstage anymore. We weren't confined by the sets that we had or the look that we had. We could go virtually anywhere, and that was really exciting. And I think we really achieved something on that show, and it looks really spectacular.
The association with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena worked out beautifully. They would give us the information that we requested for planning the sets. For all practical purposes, we had the largest research group in the world giving us information that you couldn't possibly research yourself.
Many aspects of Crusade we wanted to make a distinct break from the universe of Babylon 5. Music being one of the distinctive ones. Christopher's music was so, identified with Babylon 5. He had a very distinctive style. We wanted this to have a different feel.
After much search, we sent it in on Evan Chen, who had given that kind of combination of Oriental and Western music.
One of the other things that we did was we brought Fred Murphy on as our DP to give a different kind of look to Crusade.
The beauty of it is there was no rules. I could do anything I wanted. And, they never stopped me and never questioned me, they always liked what we did.
I first met Fred because he was the Steadicam operator we most often used on B5. So for him as the DP on Crusade, I could say at the drop of a hat, hey, let's Steadicam this.
I just tried to make the camera move a lot more. They weren't static shots where I'm doing a close-up here or a close-up there. I would do more kind of like the NYPD Blue stuff, doing a lot of moving of the camera.
Yes, I'm a thief and a damn good one. You need to get inside something, you need to get out, tunnel under, go around, go through. I'm it.
When I sat down to design Crusade, I almost looked to the role-playing universe for a model where you had a thief, you had a scientist, you had a magician, all on a quest. So I kind of adapted that format to Crusade to make the feel a bit different than what we'd seen before in Babylon 5.
I'm not subtle, I'm not pretty, and I'll piss off a lot of people along the way. But I'll get the job done.
Of the characters that were created for the show, probably Gideon was the most difficult, only because the captain's always the most difficult. He's the one who has to be the straight man. He has to be the one in authority and responsible for things, and he has the most restrictions to his character.
Gary Cole had previous television lead experience and was a bit off-center.
Is there anything you can tell me?
Never eat anything bigger than your head, never shoot pool at a place called Pop's, never eat food at a place called Mom's.
And since this was an experience of exploring new worlds, we felt that he would be very appropriate.
I thought you said you don't hold a grudge.
I don't. I have no surviving enemies.
Technomages are very popular with the fans. They're popular with the creator of the show as well. And I wanted to have someone there who would come at problems from a very different perspective than everyone else.
Has anyone else ever found this well of forever?
Absolutely. It's just that no one has ever returned. Consider it an adventure.
Joe was very careful not to describe any of the characters in too much detail. It was a sort of running joke that he was, keeping a lot of secrets, and that the last people to know would probably be the people playing the characters. For me, it certainly worked out all right, because the character is mysterious.
When will you come back?
In the fullness of time. Expect me when you see me.
You don't know a lot about him, and even through the episodes that we shot, you gradually reveal more about the character.
You seem troubled, sir.
Trouble, Lieutenant?
All right, preoccupied then. Would Captain Lockley be involved by any chance?
Read my mind.
Sir, I would
Sorry.
never...
Sorry. It's a figure of speech. I didn't mean it literally.
Between the time of Babylon 5 and Crusade, we had the telepath wars take place. So I wanted to indicate what happened after the fact, part of which being that Teeps were now allowed to join military vessels with certain very clear restrictions on them.
Showing that we can obey the new regs is all that stands between us and the creation of a new Psi-Corps. I'm not going to be the one to mess that up.
Through Matheson, we would eventually learn what happened during the course of that war. And I thought it'd be fun to play him at times being discriminated against, not because he's Asian, but because he's a telepath.
It is wrong to withhold information.
Yes. Yes, it is, isn't it?
Dorina Nafil was one of my favorite characters I've ever played.
Oh, I said let me go!
She was a little spitfire. She was a thief, a tunnel rat, had the biggest chip on her shoulder, but also had like a wonderful humorous side. For Crusade, I was the only regular alien, which is unusual, I think, for B5. I didn't mind it, I really didn't. I only resented it when Peter came in to get his head buffed, and he would be sitting in the chair for 5 minutes, and then I'd be like, I've been here for 3 hours.
I am many things. I am bright, personable, charismatic, and not a bad dancer, but expendable, no.
It's a terrible thing to say, but the primary requirement from Max Allerson was that he should be annoying.
He was a kind of an egomaniac and had no idea that the outside world was going to be affected by any of his impact, because this was just naturally the way it had to go. It was efficient or it didn't exist. So his patience level for things in this spaceship was limited, shall we say?
Last entry deleted.
Somebody who's as rigid as Max was going to hit the wall pretty hard. And I think that was coming. And I don't know if we got quite to that point in the show, but I had the feeling that he was really in for a transformation.
I don't think that you can handle what I'm having.
Is that a challenge, Max?
Are you up to it?
Up to whatever you can dish out. My character came in, and that was another one of those new things that they wanted to add to the show, and it just felt comfortable, you know? It felt really good. I mean, it was exciting stuff, you know, all this pilot stuff, and it was really good.
I want you to go through full decontamination procedure before you come out of there, including body cavity decon. Maybe we'll get lucky and find out where your copy of MedLab regulations went.
We had cast Margine as a technician engineer on the Call to Arms. While this is going on, we're also casting for a doctor for the Crusade series, and we couldn't find anyone who really worked for the show. And as we're casting over here, we see Margine over here doing a great job and being very strong and capable and likable, and we're like, shoot. Let's get her.
She's a very caring person. She's very loving, but she's very professional. She knows exactly what she wants and what she wants to do. She's got a greater stake in the whole theme of what was going on, which was trying to find the cure for the Drakh plague, because she had a sister that was on Earth. So her mission was a little more personal.
You know what you are?
Ruggedly handsome.
A control freak.
Can I be both?
Tracy was, in many respects, our anchor for the show because she could tie together both the Babylon 5 universe and Crusade, because they would come to B5 from time to time for assistance or for layovers or for meetings or what have you.
I was very flattered to be one of the characters that went over to Crusade, and I really liked the way my storyline was going there.
Do you believe in God?
Captain, I have 5 years to cure the Drakh plague. Do I believe in God? I'll get back to you on that in 5 years, in 1 day.
I wanted to start off the show in media res, in action, where the team's already together and they're off doing their thing, as many shows do. But after we shot 4 episodes or 5 episodes, TNT stopped everything and wanted to re-examine things a bit. And part of that was to say, let's do a pilot episode proper, where they come together for the first time to introduce them in their areas of specialization.
When we shut down, we did revitalize and redo the sets, which was a huge challenge.
And so there was kind of like this massive building campaign for a couple of weeks where we really just got an infusion of cash and started building a lot of new sets. And I think it really, you can kind of tell the difference because we weren't just on the Excalibur or just on the planets. You started seeing a lot more of the Excalibur and you thought, well, this is a much bigger ship, it's more interesting.
We changed the wardrobe at the same time, which gave us the problem of how does that fit in all the stories. Episode 108 with the new black uniforms became episode 1.
We actually went back to the drawing board with the uniforms, and we, I tried to think of an idea where we could use a uniform that might look like a jumpsuit, and yet the parts and pieces of that uniform would come off. The sleeves would unzip, the jacket unzipped from the pants, so you could, have a variety of different uses.
So now the first uniforms were now the second uniforms, which would in time be thrown away in a terrible accident with the dry cleaners, to then bring back the black uniforms. So it started off, in fact, gray, black, and black, but in story time, it would be black, gray, and black.
There is no planning, no design to our lives.
Odd. Given your profession, I figured you'd be the one person who'd believe otherwise.
I think this is where I get off. Metaphorically, metaphysically, and literally.
I think with Crusade, we didn't hit our stride. We didn't really get into what we could have really done well. And when you're developing a new show, it takes several episodes for it to find its legs and to find its place. And I think even harder with a sci-fi show.
We set our bar really, really high for what we were trying to achieve with Crusade. I think the bar was set probably just a notch too far beyond where we could reach with the resources that we had.
I love these 13 episodes. They represent to me some really good storytelling. They represent great performances, the best CGI I've seen in a while, good sets, a good working environment. It is a postscript to Babylon 5 to say what might have been. And like many things that are ended prematurely, it becomes myth after a while. And if Crusade was about myth to some extent, then somehow there's symmetry there.